Here we got an amazing live for you. We got Michael Tessalona, the Michael Tessalona, coming on here to talk about how he has lost 10 pounds in 6 weeks while on vacation and while still eating the foods that he freaking enjoys. Michael is a beast. We're going to bring him on here. He's going to tell his story. Here he is, bringing him on. The comment section down below. If you're watching on that replay squad, you also know what to do. Hashtag replay squad in the comment section down below. We're still waiting. Here we go. Come on, Michael. Here we go. Donald is back. Welcome in, Donald. There he is. The Michael Tessalona. What is up, brother? Can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
Can't hear me?
Now I can. Now I can. How we doing, man? I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Your mouth is... Now I can. It's so weird. Like every other sentence I can hear you. But you're looking studly, bro. I'm liking that. Say something again. I want to make sure I can hear you.
All right. Is it working? Is it working now? Are we all caught up?
Yes, we are all caught up. What
All
is
right,
up, David?
perfect.
What is up, Tony? We got members of the Health and Well Blueprint in here joining us live. Are you ready to dive in, Mike?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, brother. So first thing I want to do, I want you to introduce yourself, man. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about what you do for a living. Just give us the rundown on who Michael Tessalona is.
Yeah. So Michael Tessalona. I run a digital agency, and we usually just do like SEO. And I also am the co-owner of a course called Sales Machine, where we basically teach other digital agencies how to install a predictable sales process. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, father of two. We got a 5-year-old girl, a 2-year-old son, wife, and living in North Jersey.
And
Yeah, this is
brother
actually
of... Go ahead.
that's Manhattan. That's Manhattan, right? Behind those
Let's go.
behind those clouds.
I love me some
Yeah.
Manhattan. And you're also the brother of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, Russell Wilson. There's some like UFC fighter, Alistair something I've heard of before. Yeah, that
Yeah, you look
combo.
identical to Russell Wilson. I think it's so funny. But anyways, let's get into your health journey, bro. You got some cool stuff to share with us. So first thing I want to know is, where was your health prior to the Health and Wealth Blueprint? Like, what were you experiencing? Like, just describe it a little bit.
Well, this came out during our call, and the biggest thing was that I was never like really like crazy overweight, but like that upper limit of what I would hit every winter was just constantly just cranking up just a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. So, every winter I'd hit like, 180, 180, 183, 185. And in the springtime, I kept on trying, like every spring I'd try some like new thing to lose weight, and it was a like keto, or then it was like the slow carb diet, or then it was like fasting for like multiple weekends. And it just seemed like whatever, I don't know, like gimmick I would try, it would always just reverse, and it would suck. And I just felt like I didn't have any long-term game plan in place.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I remember that, and I was kind of prefacing that on my introduction about you, is that every time you would go to lose weight, you would go right to the restrictive diet, right? And and
Yeah.
I know that you love your food. You actually have a question here.
I got some
David,
Five Guys.
yeah, David wants to know, do you live in Hoboken, Weehawken, or West New York?
Yeah, I live in Union City, so I am like that's Hoboken, and then Manhattan, and then right over there is the border of Jersey City. So I'm like
Oh,
right
cool.
on the border of Jersey City and Hoboken.
I have a friend who lives there. His name is, wow, I'm forgetting his name. That's so sad because he was my sales coach. I'm so bad
Yeah,
with names. I'll
I know every single person in Jersey City and Union City, so
let,
you gotta tell me, you gotta put us in contact.
shit. I'll remember his name. I'm so bad with names. Anyways, let's get back to you and your health journey. So, you were doing tons of restrictive diets. It was working for you, but then come winter, you would hit a new high weight. How was that making you feel as a person? I remember you were talking about how it was making you feel like you're not playing all out in your life. Talk a little bit about that.
I mean, I think like the biggest thing is it just made me feel like I just didn't have any progress. And I would say like a sense of like loss of control, you know? I'm getting some weird audio coming back on us. Are you hearing that?
No, I'm not.
All right. All right. So I'll just try to ignore it then. But yeah, that was probably those are probably the biggest things.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I remember his name now. His name is Darius Vega. Do you know him?
No, I don't know.
Damn it. Cool. Gotcha. And how was that non-discipline showing up in your life? Like how was it showing up in other areas of your life, like your business, your personal life? Was it showing up anywhere else, or was it purely just your health and fitness?
I mean, it was mostly in my health and fitness, but I mean, how can you not have like one really important aspect of your life not sort of like spill over into the other areas of your life? You know what I mean? Like even if something's really going well, like if you have like something in other areas, if you have something that's like fundamentally bad or not optimal, that's gonna be there. It's like a shadow.
Yep, absolutely. It makes you feel guilty. It's always haunting you. It drains your freaking energy. I totally agree, bro. So, dude, you've had some pretty amazing results so far. I believe you've been in the program for 6 weeks now. We're already 10 pounds down. I think we almost surpassed the original goal that you set for yourself in half of the time frame, which is pretty cool. But you've been doing that. This is the coolest part. You've been doing that all while still eating the foods that you enjoy and
Yeah.
being on vacation and traveling. Talk about some of the successes that you've had in the program so far.
Well, like one of the biggest, I had like this 2 day stint where like on one day I had Five Guys, and then the next day I had Chipotle, and I basically like that for me was such a huge like win because I'm like, holy shit, like all I have to do is you know, I'll have like protein shakes in the morning, I'll have my Five Guys, and I'll have a protein shake for dinner, and the same thing with like Chipotle. And it was just figuring out a way. Like once I learned that, then it was like, oh wait, now I know how to make this work when I'm on vacation. Because what I can do is I can just plan like this is the dinner we're gonna go out. You know, we're gonna go out for dinner. I can eat whatever I want there. And so like, all right, I can now have my protein shakes for breakfast, for lunch, or have like those healthy options to give myself like the caloric budget and like bandwidth for dinner.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for those of you guys that have no idea what David is talking about, or not David, sorry, Michael is talking about, David's also in here, that Michael's talking about. What he's talking about is the way that we do it is 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the time you're eating whole, natural, healthy foods. 20% of the time you're eating whatever the heck you freaking want. And the way that we actually control that is by giving yourself a certain amount of calories to eat every day. So what Mike's talking about is he looked at that number, he treated it like a bank account, he deposited some of those calories towards healthy foods, and then he deposited the rest of those calories towards the foods that he enjoy. And I just think that that makes it such a sustainable process because so many people out there, Mike, and you understand, wouldn't commit to a weight loss journey if they knew that they had vacations or travel coming up
Yeah.
in their year or month or whatever it may be. Talk about that. How were you nervous about that going into vacation? Like, talk about your experience with that.
Well, and you know, the other thing, it wasn't only vacation. I mean, we had Memorial Day weekend. And so like that was like a barbecue weekend. And then we also had like my daughter's birthday. So we had like parties and cake and all that other stuff. And so like that was like another thing, like on Memorial Day weekend, like I had one bad day or like a day where I was just like, you know what, I really I'm not doing what I committed to do. But it was like your coaching afterwards where, you know, we were talking about it and you were basically saying, it's like, look, do not like starve yourself the next day. Like just like get back on track, you know? And it was basically like learning from all of it's basically like I kind of feel like I joined at the absolute best time because there were so many options to fall off track
Mm.
because we were able, like you were able to coach me through like, all right, this is what happens in these scenarios. These are the tools and like the techniques you can use to get you past, you know what I mean, to stay on track during those periods of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And how, I mean, you lost 10 pounds, which is great. But what are some of the other wins that you've experienced as far as like, how do you feel now emotionally? Like, Just talk about some of the differences that have shown up in your life since.
I mean, like I lost 10 pounds, but I put on like a solid amount of muscle at the same time. And like, I know that because like my clothes are fitting way differently. Like my pants are like kind of falling off. Like my t-shirts just look way better because like I don't have like a belly with it. And at the same time, like my shoulders and my traps and my chest are like getting like a lot thicker. So I feel like 10 pounds is like not giving myself credit enough for this.
That's just the high achiever in you, bro.
Yeah, you're right. Well, the thing is also is like I'm really like into jujitsu, and so like I've been like tearing it up on the mats.
Let's go.
Because it's like I'm moving around way easier and I'm stronger, and so yeah, no, I'm just way happier. And like the other thing is it's like I'm really happy with where we are, what we've accomplished so far, but I still have like in my mind, all right, I'm gonna drop another 8 pounds of fat, and then after that I'm gonna try to bulk up and get fucking jacked, you know. And so we were talking about, you know, like this idea of it's a journey and how, you know, you can get bigger and then now your budget for calories is way higher because your metabolic rate is higher. So I'm looking at it as like, okay, there's sort of like a game plan of where I want to be, so this way, like, you know, physically I'll be a certain way, but also lifestyle wise, I'll be able to eat a certain amount, you know, each day because I'll have a body that's able to, you know, sort of support it.
Metabolize that. Yeah, absolutely. And once again, for those of you guys that don't know what Mike is talking about, we had a group call the other day talking about
what the hell is this guy talking about?
Yeah. What's this Russell Wilson motherfucking talking about over here? No, what he's talking about is we had a group call the other day, and I kind of laid out like the vision, right? Which is, hey, okay, we're going to lose the weight now, and then we're going to focus on building muscle, because the more muscle that we have, the higher our metabolism is, which means that we can get away with more, right? Because Mike loves his Five Guys. He wants to have Five Guys every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner. The only way that he could do that is if he's a freaking beast, 180, ripping heads off on the mat. And that was something that we talked about too in our sales process, was that you said you felt kind of slow and tired on the mat, but now it sounds like you're just freaking ripping it up.
Oh man, I was actually training 2 days ago, and I have a like a bum knee. It's just from like jujitsu injury, and what I do is I tell people, I'm like, hey guys, you know, I got a bum knee. Let's only roll like 70%. Like let's not go all out and like mess up my knee. But I was rolling with this guy, and he was gassing. He was like so like out of out of breath. And afterwards, like I was fine, and he's like, dude, your 70% is my like 120%. And I was just like, I'm like, all right, I thought
like,
we were going
shit.
slow.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. Cool. So, man, we talked about the wins. Next thing I'd want to know is, were you skeptical of joining, and what were you skeptical of, if you were?
I don't know. I mean, it was basically like, you know, when we went over like the investment, I had a real like moment where I had to decide, do I believe that this is going to really work? And if it works, is it worth it? And I thought to myself, like, I'm like, wait a second, if I come up with something that works lifestyle wise, like something like if I can install a plan and like health habits and like eating habits and everything like that, that works long term for me, no doubt, 100%, this is a steal. And then it was like, all right, you know, do I believe that this is actually going, you know, do I think that Chad actually has like the answer for me? And then I thought to myself, I'm like, well, if I make the investment, there's no way in hell I'm not going to listen to every word he says. So yeah, that was it.
I love him, man. And I forgot to ask this, but I wanted to ask you this. How does this program differ than all the things you've done in the past? Like you said, you've done the keto, you've done the slow carb. Like, what's been the major differences between what you're doing now and what you did then?
It's just like, I kind of felt like if you don't have guidance with something, and like, I just speak for myself, like, you know, like if you're trying, like I was trying different ways to like get a result in my health. And then I would do something for like a week and a half, and then I'd like like second guess, you know, and I would try other things. I'd make adjustments, and it was like I just felt like I didn't have like I just didn't have like a true north almost. You know what I mean? Like just like imagine you're like on a mountain and you know where you want to go, but like you don't have a map, and so you don't have like a compass or something, you know, and you're just like, oh, I think I'm supposed to go here, or maybe I'm supposed to go this way, and maybe this will be better. And you know, by having you there and like you setting the plan, I was able to basically say like, all right, well, ask questions whenever I had them, and also just like trust your process. I was able to just say like, look, this guy knows what he's doing. I can just put all my trust in this process, and I'll instead of focusing on like questioning, is this the right way? I was able to put my energy into just staying as diligent to the process as possible. Yep. And that was like where I needed to put my energy rather than spending my energy on figuring out like, you know, the method.
Yeah. And it's not even just me anymore. We also have Coach Mike guiding you as well too. But I think the biggest challenge that I come across for business owners and entrepreneurs is they don't have a strategy that matches their busy schedule, and they don't have somebody to hold them accountable to that strategy. And what I'm getting out of what you just said is basically those are the two most valuable things, right? That's what you're making the investment in. It's the clear-cut strategy and having somebody make sure you stick to it.
Yeah, the accountability was, I mean, that's been like a pretty big piece. Because like I've had you as like, I mean, I've had you and Coach Mike to hold me accountable, but I've also had like my wife, because like I basically, like I think I had told you about this, like when she saw the credit card, she was like, yo, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, yeah, so Coach Chad, and she was like making so much fun of me. She was making so much fun of me because of it. But like the thing is, it's like that was another form of accountability, because like there was no way that I was gonna let her, you know what I mean? Like there's no way I was gonna like let it where
we had to make her sit down.
Yeah, where she was like, oh, you know, you did this and didn't work. I'm like, no. Like that was like an extra even level, and I actually continued like telling more and more people about it. Like when I was down Memorial Day, like at the beach, I was like telling people, yeah, I invested in this program. And so I had all of these people in my life knowing what I was doing. And because of that, it was just more and more reason to like not fall off track.
Yeah. And I think there's so many different layers of accountability, right? You have the community, you have me, you have Coach Mike. In addition to that, the investment alone is holding you accountable. And then of course, when you tell your family about it, then they're like, oh shit. And then you really have to take charge, which is cool. Yeah. Awesome, man. So wrapping this all up here, I got one last question for you. Who would you recommend this program to? Like if you had to describe the type of person that would benefit from this service, who would you say it's for?
I mean, it's definitely for somebody who, I mean, look, who can't, that's like asking me like, hey, who wouldn't benefit from more money? It's like, kind of everybody, you know what I mean? Like if I had to be like critical and say like, who do I specifically think this would like work for? It's like somebody who thinks, someone who sees the value of, you know, the value of like good health, I guess. But I mean, I think like everybody, honestly, like I mean, I like not in a condescending way, but like I do kind of like feel bad for people who are in like awful shape, because like I can't even imagine like what that would feel like, you know, what that feels like having low energy, not feeling good about yourself, not feeling good, like just like walking in your shoes, like that shit's awful, you know? And so like everybody needs to prioritize their energy. Everybody needs to prioritize. I tell my wife, my wife's in great shape, but like I tell her, I'm like, look, you need to work out more just so you can feel better, you know? And so anybody who wants to just improve their, if you care about improving your like just overall your just overall happiness and well-being, like one of the first places to look is your health.
Absolutely. And yeah, I was listening to something today actually that was talking about like if you feel out of control in your life, if you feel like things are falling apart, always start with your health because no matter how out of control your life is, you can always control how much you move and what goes in your mouth. And once you take control of those two things, it's going to start bleeding into other areas of your life. And that's kind of what you talked about in the beginning, right? You were like, well, yeah, of course, if I better my health and just have more discipline there, it's going to show up in other areas of my life. So I think that's super cool, man. Awesome. Do you have any last things you want to say here? It
Well,
looks like
yeah, well,
David
I mean,
said something down there.
along those lines of like what you said, it's like I think that you can control your moods. Like for
Mm,
me, that's like been a battle, I'd say, for like the last like 3 years, is like what do I do to like control my moods where like I'm like feeling happy and energetic. Like I mean, look, like I can tell you like this, like I can have, if I'm in a good mood, if I've like exercised, if I'm eating right, like problems come and it's just like, all right, I just deal with it. But like if you're in a bad mood or something, or if you're down, the normal everyday problems come and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck am I
yeah.
gonna do? You want to like crawl into bed.
Yeah.
And like that's what I would say is like you can control how you move, what you eat, but that controls like your mental well-being. That controls your mood, which is everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, and David says, payment is definitely accountability. Tell your wife what I told mine. Get out and stay at your parents if you don't like it. But
Never. I would never talk to my wife. I don't want. I'd be
damn.
the one. I'd be the one out of the house.
Yeah, David's actually from New Jersey as well, the New Jersey, New York area. So, Chad, tell him, man, if he likes that feeling, meditate, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. There it is. Meditation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something I need to definitely work on is meditation. But awesome, brother. Any final words, any parting words from the Michael Tesalona, aka Russell Wilson 2.0?
Hey, Chad, man, thanks so much for reaching out on Facebook. That first time, and yeah, I really feel blessed to have this program in my life, and thanks for everything.
Anytime, brother. Yeah, can't wait to see what the future holds for you. Awesome, Mike. Well, dude, let's do the sign off together. Do you memorize it? Do you need me to walk you through it?
Yeah, no, I got it.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Health,
All
and
right.
we flex.
Yeah,
Wealth
it's up here.
and prosperity, baby. Hey,
There it is,
I'll talk to
guys.
you soon. Peace out, Mike.